Awesome. Well, thank you so much for popping on here. I'm just going to give you a brief overview of our programs and take you behind the scenes so you can see what's inside of each program and how to navigate each program. And then I'm also going to share 5 ways to make money with your certification program. Because what's so amazing about the health field is you can come into it and you learn all this information for yourself and for your personal health, and you start to feel better. And then other people want to know what you're doing, and you can
Yeah.
coach them through that whole process. Totally. Exactly. And so that's what's so fun about it, is it's like you get to learn for yourself, and then our graduates make a career out of it. They get to spend the rest of their life helping other people reclaim their health and go through a successful health transformation. So that's a brief overview of today. So I'm going to be sharing my screen for a lot of this. I'm going to share a PowerPoint, and then I'm going to actually take you online into my course library. I have access to all the courses at Holistic Health Educators. Lucky me. So I'm going to take you inside my course library and show you around back there. So does that sound good?
Okay, thanks. That sounds great. Thanks.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and start sharing my screen, and then feel free to post your questions in the chat section when you have any questions. But I want to first begin by giving you an introduction of holistic health educators and where we came from. So this is an international organization filled with people who are practitioners, researchers, health advocates, community activists, moms, dads, young adults, people who just love helping other people heal. Lots of nurses, like anyone in the spectrum that's remotely related to health is welcome in this community, because not only are we here to learn for ourselves, but also here to learn from each other. That is what is so enriching about our community, is the type of experts and professionals that this organization brings in. Is like we're just constantly expanding our realm of what's possible to do with the human body, because we're all able to collaborate online and collaborate to create amazing programs. So it's been super fun. We place a lot of emphasis on educating parents and working with family units, because that is how you can change generational outcomes. I'm sure many of you are aware, so many of our health behaviors, they're just cultural and generational, and they just kind of get passed on and on and on. And we're trying to bring it back to the basics and bring it back to what some of the traditions that our ancestors used to do that are really healthy, that maybe we've forgotten about by now or just lost in our culture. And so we place a lot of emphasis on empowering family units, and also on empowering leaders, community activists, people who want to share this information with other people, or teach community classes, or hold community potlucks. We are all about community and changing the foundation of health outcomes from the inside out in communities. And so it's been just so fun to be able to work with our graduates, because our interest is that their people can learn from them, and then the people they teach can learn from those people, and that it just kind of spreads outward like this web of this empowering education just getting passed on and on and on. And you're going to get a taste of that education tonight. So we originally began as a holistic healthcare center with grocery stores, organic cafes. We had these holistic healthcare centers where people would come for XYZ, acupuncture, chiropractic care, nutritional counseling, biofeedback scanning, herbs, tinctures, XYZ, you name it. And we would do health expos at the state level, like host state fairs for health and all that, and educational events. And we eventually closed all of our physical locations to just focus on providing online education. So now we host online courses, retreats, community classes, and conferences. And those are so fun. I really hope those watching us have the chance to attend one of those with us in person at some point in the future. So today I'm going to briefly be going over these 4 programs: the Holistic Health 10-Step Program, Human Body Master Guide, and then our 2 certification programs, the Holistic Health Coach Certification and the Therapeutic Nutritional Counselor Certification. So these 2 certifications are, one of them, the Health Coach one takes about 2 to 3 months, so that's a much faster one. The Therapeutic Nutritional Counselor Certification takes a year to 2 years. Some people get through it in 6 months if they are pretty dedicated, but a lot of people who are just doing it on the side, it usually takes about a year to 2. So it really depends on your time frame, but these 2 certifications give you an amazing base knowledge of holistic healthcare and of how to work with clients, and the legalities of setting up a business, and the legalities of coaching someone. The Health Coach program is more to like help people with lifestyle transformations. The Therapeutic Nutritional Counselor Certification is more like a holistic holistic healthcare practitioner where you have this arsenal of like literally hundreds of ways to heal the human body, and you intuitively work with clients to help them find the best solutions for what they're facing. But yeah, both programs are just so fun to work with. And so I'm actually going to stop sharing my screen right now. We're going to come back because I want to take you through the ways that our clients make money with these certifications. But I'm just going to first begin here with taking you inside my library. So super fun. So I'm going to begin with showing you how I log in. So this is the homepage for Holistic Health Educators. So after you're enrolled, you're going to come up here, and several of you are probably already in a couple of our classes, maybe the free ones that we have, but come up here and you're going to log in by clicking on your profile. There's sometimes a login button, but you can upload a picture. So I'm going to go here to my library. So this is where you will find all of your courses, and it'll show you right here the last video you were working on. So you can just click that to start your courses right away. And you can also just go into specific courses. So let's say today we're going to start with the 10-step program. So the 10-step program is this colorful wheel where we take people through the basics of holistic health. Now, this is about how to help your body have everything it needs from the inside out to be healthy. We spend more time talking about environmental health in additional courses, talking about how the environment affects us. But these are the 10 like foundational steps we've found from literally decades of working with clients, what helps people completely transform their health. And these are the 10 steps. It was super fun creating this course because we were counseling with all these other health coaches around the country until we decided on these 10 steps. So the first step, I'm going to show you the layout of how each step goes with water as the example, and then we're going to kind of breeze through the rest, and I'm going to give you just little snippets from the other steps so you can kind of get an idea of the type of education you receive at Holistic Health Educators. So each section has the main videos. Sometimes that's just one. If you're in nutrition, it's going to be like 5. And then there's a challenge for the week. And so the challenges are super fun. I'll show you that in a minute. There's a fun quiz. And then a lot of times there's an application video. So like, what does this actually look like in your day-to-day life? So for the educational section, here you have Jenilyn, Karen, and I kind of like talk show host style, just going back and forth. I'll play this clip.
I think is easiest that I've told clients in the past is if you don't want to get a filtration system in your house, you can definitely get a filtration system in your house where you can have sinks that are purified water. But let's just say you're not willing to do that, or you have an apartment, or you don't own your house. You can go to places like a water wellness or a treatment center, and you can actually get distilled water. So distilled water.
Cool. So she's just talking about water filtration options. So we're going over that. Then in the middle here, we get into like the biology of like, Karen goes into this whole thing about cell health. Like, why do your cells need tons of water? If you're not hydrating, your cells can get stuck together and they have trouble absorbing nutrients, and you can, you're not flushing your lymphatic system as well. And she just gets into the biology of it, and then we just tell funny stories. Anyway, it's a lot of application, a lot of science, and just a lot of insight into easy ways to incorporate more water and healthy water in your life. And so then there's a challenge video where we're like, hey, oops, that's very loud, sorry. We're giving you the challenge for the week.
Hey!
Welcome to the water section.
Okay. Anyway, you can watch that when you get to it, but we give the challenge for drinking water, and then which is to drink 2 quarts by 2 o'clock every day. I'll just tell you right now, it's a super great challenge. And then there's a fun quiz, and then an application video. And so these are sometimes PowerPoints or sometimes people's stories, and it just kind of takes you through easy ways to source water, etc. Awesome. So I'm going to come back out here to the challenges. So we go through clean water and then movement. We call it movement instead of exercise because our goal with the movement section is to help people change their mentality about movement, that it is not like exercise doesn't need to be an event. You can move throughout the whole day. You can like stretch like a lion when you wake up, and then you can do some calf raises when you're in the kitchen. And this is really weird, but I like going into like a high plank in the kitchen, or some push-ups when I'm like waiting for something to heat up, or there's a timer on, or like you can do some squats while you're brushing your teeth. And so just talking about how to move our bodies more, and then definitely walk more. And then on top of that, there's like additional exercises you can do for strength training. But the movement section is huge. Every system in our body requires movement. Then we have, Sorry about that. Nutrition's broken up into two parts just because it's such a huge section. We want to get into proteins, fats, and carbohydrates, as well as anti-nutrients and micronutrients. So I'm just going to come down here. So here you can see we cover healthy fats, carbohydrates, amino acids, superfoods, micronutrients, anti-nutrients, and then there's challenge, and then there's these bonus articles. And so you can also access those just to add on to your learning. We talk about fasting and hormones and things like that. We covered digestive health because you have to heal your gut. So we cover like candida and acid reflux and leaky gut and the gut microbiome. Now the brain health section is split into two. You have the top part, which is neurotransmitters and brain chemistry. And then you have the second part, which is neural pathways and brain mapping. So what's the difference here? I'm just going to pause for just 2 seconds because this is a really fun distinction to make. Is you'll find with a lot of mental health conditions or any type of mental health or emotional like dysregulation, half the time, that's not a scientific statistic, but just for like categorization purposes, half the time it's like a literal chemical imbalance. Like this person is not producing enough serotonin, not producing enough dopamine, the levels of their testosterone to estrogen are off. Like there's a chemical imbalance occurring in their body that is resulting in like lethargia and apathy and not caring and not feeling like they can do anything. And so it's a chemical imbalance. And so we talk about how to support that. But the other part of the time, it can be like totally just our central nervous system got wired to have a negative reaction at something. And we have these triggers and we have these brain maps. We're like, oh my gosh, this person's late to my lunch date. And then subconsciously, you're like, why don't they love me? They obviously don't prioritize me. Are they even going to show up at all? And subconsciously, this person starts going through like every reason why this person wants to leave them, because maybe as a kid, their dad was really unreliable coming home, and they just have this central nervous system wiring that unreliable people don't love you and aren't there for you. And so I'm just using that as a personal experience I had with some of my friends, explaining how they developed borderline personality disorder. And so with the cases with like brain health and mental health, when it comes to how to rewire our brain, that's a whole nother conversation than balancing their chemicals, because someone can be eating right, but if they have all these triggers from their central nervous system being wired, we have to look at how to rewire the brain maps. And so such a fun topic. As you could tell, we like love brain health here. We talk all about supplements that support the brain, and diets that support the brain, and then also all these different forms of therapy that help you rewire the brain. And it's really, really empowering. I'm going to answer a question really quick. Kim asked, is there a reason to drink the water by 2 o'clock? So yes, two main reasons I want to mention. First is that there is this circadian rhythm and Chinese clock theory where their days splitting it up into about 3 different parts. You have appropriation, which is from noon to 8 p.m., which is where you can typically consume food. And then you have assimilation, which is from 8 p.m. to 4 a.m., which is where your body's recovering, you're assimilating all the nutrients you ate that day, and your body's just in build mode. And then elimination is from 4 or 5 a.m. till about noon. And that's when your body's looking at getting rid of the toxins that it detoxed while you were sleeping. And so that's why a lot of times your urine will be darker or more acidic in the morning, because your body's been processing things and your kidney's been filtering, and now it needs to leave the body. And so drinking water in the morning can help with that elimination cycle. It can trigger a bowel movement. It's great to have a big bowel movement in the morning. Like that's a great sign that your bowels are getting regulated, and it just helps like flush out anything that needs to come out in your urine. But secondly, it's important to be hydrated, but if you save all your hydration for like after 4 in the afternoon, that can actually start to interrupt your sleep. If you're drinking like quarts and quarts of water in the evening, then you may find yourself having to go to the bathroom while you rest. And even though like ideally when you get into like your sleep cycle, your urges to go to the bathroom is hormonally suppressed. So if someone's like waking up all the time to go to the bathroom, that can be a bigger sign of hormonal dysregulation and not being able to sleep deeply than it is they're drinking too much water. But I personally find like if I'm drinking a lot of water after dinner, like it will disrupt my sleep. And so those are just 2 reasons why drinking water earlier in the day can be better. Now, don't stress yourself out if it's like 3 o'clock and you're like, you haven't drunken your 2 quarts yet. Like it's not meant to stress you out. It's just to start getting us in the habit of just getting hydrated earlier in the day. Last thing is it usually takes like 4 to 6 hours to truly hydrate. And so you do want to get that, like if you have an athletic activity coming up, you're going to want to be hydrating the day before and the whole morning of, instead of like saving like, oh, I'm going to go for a run or I'm going to go to the beach, I better drink a bunch of water. Like it takes hours to truly hydrate your body. And if you're going to the bathroom all the time after you drink water, that could be a sign your water needs more minerals, just throwing it out there. So that's one thing, getting mineral drops and adding it to water can really improve water retention in a healthy homeostatic way. So you don't want like too much water retention, but you want enough that you're not like urinating 20 minutes after you drink a glass of water. So that may be more than you asked for, but there's a lot to the water section, obviously. So it's a step number one for a reason. But filtering it is huge. And so we spent a lot of time talking about how to get out all the nasty toxic chemicals that appear in unfiltered water today. Okay, so that's the brain health section, and I'm so excited to hear what your thoughts are as you go through that section, because we absolutely love nerding out about how neurotransmitters trigger our different things in our bodies and affect our emotions. The biggest feedback we get from our students after they go through the brain health section is that they're less judgmental of their own emotions. They're like, wow, I don't judge myself anymore for feeling lethargic or for feeling sad or for feeling lazy or for feeling frustrated. Like I don't blame myself like I'm a bad person. I'm like, okay, is it a brain mapping issue? Is it a neurotransmitter imbalance? Have I had too many stimulants lately? Did I not sleep well? And so my hormones are off. You know, you learn how to like step outside your body and like realize how to not judge your emotions and just look at it from like slightly more of a scientific lens. So it's kind of fun. I'm going to fly through these because we need to move on to the next section. If you can't tell, we love the 10-step program, but we cover breathing and nose breathing and how that affects your health and different breathing exercises you can do to improve your whole health. I had no clue how much breathing affected our health until the past couple years. We talk about sound sleep and tips for sleeping better. So many people, especially the clients you work with, struggle with sleep issues. And so this section is great because we go over 7 steps to improve someone's sleep. It's like a checklist, like boom, boom, boom. If someone's not sleeping well, let's talk about how much movement are they getting in a day? What's the electrical environment in their room? What could be inhibiting their melatonin production? What's going on with their hormones late at night related to their food? And so we just, boom, go through this checklist of things that affect your sleep. And it's very empowering to know that, because you're like, okay, food, temperature, electricity, you're going through it in your head so you can kind of figure out how to improve your own sleep and then definitely help your clients improve their sleep. So many success stories from this. It is so cool to hear. And then EMFs and electricity. The electricity around us definitely affects our cell health and affects how we feel and the amount of energy we have. And so that's a great section just to learn more. Some people have reported it can be a little overwhelming the first time you hear about it, because your electrical environment is something that we don't hear a lot about. And so it's like, oh man, what can I really do? But the fun part is there is so much you can do to try to help negate the negative effects of the electrical world we live in. And we also talk about how some wavelengths can be positive for you. So you can also combat harmful frequencies with positive frequencies. So step 9 is emotional health. And then step 10 is detoxification. And we save detoxification for the end because this is going to be an ongoing thing for the rest of your life. We are big advocates that detoxification is not like a spring cleaning event. It's not like, oh, time to do my annual detox. Like I'm going to go do a juice fast for a week, or I'm going to go wrap myself up in fancy stuff. Like we're like, detoxification happens in your body every single day. Your organs, like your liver and your kidneys, are full-time detoxifiers in your body. They're hired full-time to help your body detoxify. And so the more toxins you take out of your life, the more your body will continue to purge until all of a sudden you have a much lower chemical profile in your body than you would normally. So we just talk about daily detoxification methods, dry skin brushing and saunaing, and obviously clean diet. So that's the 10-step program. That is the health curriculum for the health coach program. So when you, if you enroll to become a health coach, you'll notice the 10-step program is a lot of the health curriculum that you'll learn. And we go into a little bit more depth on a few of the steps. For example, we cover a lot more about insulin resistance and diabetes, because so many clients need a health coach who are pre-diabetic or diabetic, type 2. And so, but there's stuff you can do even to help type 1 actually. But those health coaches learn a little bit more about the science behind each step, just so they can like really empower their clients. But for the most part, the 10-step program covers those bases. Now, the second half of the health coach program is the the coaching curriculum. I'm actually going to share my screen for another minute while I take you through part of this health coach program. I just have to find it. Haha, it was hidden. Okay, so this is the slide I'm talking about here. So you have half of it's your health curriculum, half of it's your coaching curriculum. And so for the health coaching curriculum part, is it going to play the recording? Okay. You learn about coaching techniques, business organization and legalities. How do you conduct a motivational interview? Do you file as an LLC or a PMA? Do you carry your own insurance? What kind of disclaimers do you have them fill out to protect yourself legally? Because you actually are not legally allowed to give people specific nutrition advice unless you're a registered dietitian or registered nutritionist. However, you can educate, and that's what we're big believers in. Holistic health educators, you are the educator. So you can help educate them and inform them so they can make the best decision for their life, which I think is like amazing. You can be like, hey, these are the products that have helped people in your exact condition, like check it out, see if it would be great for you. So that's kind of how the health coach program split up. You also do book reports. There's 3 book reports, and then a verbal practicum and a final exam, and then you practice coaching. So that's like the whole shebang for the health coach program. That's why it's only 2 to 3 months, because you've picked 3 of a book of 16, a list of 16 books, and do a brief report on those. So it's just simple. We have live calls to support you throughout that, and tons of workshops. And so these workshops are awesome. In fact, Debbie's going to be doing one soon about health behavior change and how to help your clients truly set effective goals, not SMART goals based off of what was that? SMART, the specific, measurable. I mean, that's great material if you want, but she goes into like how to actually help scientifically change someone's habits by looking at the cue and the reward system, and looking at how to insert it and making it like satisfying and desirable and easy and obvious. And so just really great training on how to help your clients develop healthier habits. And this is what it looks like online. So I kind of already went through that, but I'm actually going to fly through this. If you want to learn more about the coaching program, you can also just head on the website. But coaches do sometimes it's life coaching, sometimes it's strictly health coaching. They do talk about emotional and mental health training, nutrition, fitness, health communication. It really varies client to client and depending on what your specialty is. But I just like showing these pictures because these are anything you might do. You might text them to support them. You might send them files on healthy versus unhealthy fats and educate them on how to get more healthy fats in their diet and cut out the unhealthy fats that cause inflammation and brain fog and lethargia and weight gain. And you might have accountability with them and be checking up on their workouts. Like this is a screenshot with one of my clients. Is she's trying to work out every day. So on every Saturday we create this Trello board and she checks it off and I get to follow it on my end of the workouts that she did that week. So that's how we stay accountable. And I have this little secret sauce over here because what is your secret sauce? Are you an iridologist? Are you a CrossFit coach? Are you a help women recover from narcissistic relationships expert? Do you do confidence coaching or there's so many specialties out there. So use your secret sauce. This is just a picture of like CrossFit coaching, and then a lot with motivational interviewing. So that's just a brief introduction to the health coach market. And just so you know, the health coach market is exploding just because just obesity is on the way up, people being overweight is on the way up, we're looking at almost 78% of the US dealing with wanting to lose weight. And so the need for health coaches is huge, because if someone tries to lose weight on their own, the odds are 3 to 5% that they'll stick with the nutrition plan that they just like download from online. So it's like they definitely, people need coaches, and businesses are hiring coaches, insurance companies are hiring coaches, individuals are hiring coaches just because of the cost savings. If you look here, like this business, for example, saves 70%, if you look at this highlighted part, 70% of medical and pharmacy cost savings came from just 30% of employees who enroll in coaching. And so huge benefits there. That's why you can do worksite wellness programs and help them out. Insurance companies, these people, that their patients saved an average of $300 per month. That's right on task. Check this one out. Outpatient and total cost savings, just 6 months after working with a coach for at least 4 weeks, these people were 286 for outpatient, and then $412 per month in total cost savings. So I'm not saying this to tell you that coaching is easy and you're going to get your certification and walk out the door and everyone's going to want to hire you and they're just going to start throwing their money at you because you're going to save them so much money. I'm not trying to paint the picture that it's like super easy to help people invest in their health, but I am painting the picture this is one of the most secure job markets in terms of people needing highly trained professionals who can actually help other people modify their behavior and develop a healthier lifestyle. Like literally so many people do want highly trained coaches, individuals want them, businesses, XYZ. And so there is a hugely expanding market. The health industry, what's the statistic here? It's expected to grow to buy 1.7 billion by 2022. So that's going to be up to almost an $8 billion industry by 2022. That's next year. And so there's just so much opportunity for coaches to get into the market and help other people make changes and support their own family as well. And our coaches love it. They, yeah, they're awesome. I love getting texts from our coaches being like, I just spent all day with you and you didn't even know it, because they're going through the curriculum, but they're like, and then I was on Facebook like all night able to help people out with their health issues, and just finding people who are really turning to them looking for answers, and they feel confident, like helping people know where to turn when you have gut issues or when your child has digestive issues, XYZ. So just super growing field. So I hope, does that sound pretty clear so far? If I can see some thumbs up, just because I try not to like over pitch it, but it is like one of the most needed jobs that exists right now. And so it's just absolutely wonderful for people to receive that training. So one question was, how do you define what a holistic health coach is? Someone asked me, but I couldn't give a straight answer. Yeah, that's great, Kim. So I would define a holistic health coach as someone who helps other people reach their health goals in an effective and non-stressful way, like without yo-yo dieting. And the holistic part is that you address the whole person. And so some coaching programs, like a lot of coaching programs actually, are very specific, like nutrition, or like fitness, and there'll be some nutrition or fitness and nutrition. But as you can tell, like we care about like digestive health, we care about emotional health, we care about your environment and electricity. Like there's so many things that could be playing into someone's weight. Like we have clients where like they're trying to change their diet and exercising, but until they forgive, I don't know, something in their past that happened that traumatized them, until that happens, their body's just like holding on to the weight. And then they have an emotional health breakthrough and lose 20 pounds in a month, totally normal. And so like there's so many things that could be causing someone to be holding on to weight that they don't need, or that could be leading to negative health outcomes. That's why holistic health educators, we've actually become a lot more holistic than we started. We started off a lot more just like, okay, what's the nutritional profile? Do they have enough vitamin D? Vitamin D is a hormone, by the way, so super important to have enough of that. It's not just like a fun vitamin that's fun to have. Like it regulates a lot in your body. So we started off like, do they have the right herbs? Do they have the right nutrients? Are they exercising? A lot like that. And then we realized, holy cow, these people will get rid of their condition, go away, come back with another condition, get rid of it, go away, come back with another condition, get rid of it, go away, until they finally resolve their emotional health issues that were causing so much stress and trauma in their body. And so that's what I would say, Kim, if someone's asking you, like, what's the difference between normal coach and a holistic coach say, hey, we still help people with lifestyle change. We still help them eat better. We help them move their bodies more, but we look at them as a whole person, because sometimes they need to change their diet and exercise to reach their goals. And other times they actually need to address some things that are maybe a little bit deeper than that. And I'm not saying you're going to come out of this a therapist because maybe you, with me, I'm not the one who does the therapy for my clients, but almost all of them end up going to a therapist and resolving a lot of other things in their life. So I just recommend them to those experts who can help them take the next step in their health. Does that answer your question, Kim? That was not like a brief way to explain it, but I'm just hoping to help you paint the picture. That's why we love that it's a holistic health coach, because nothing's off limits for you, to talk about. Like, we have coaches who have taken our certification after getting certified through other organizations, and they came to us because they wanted the liberty to be able to work with their clients according to their own intuition, because they were like working with some companies as their coach, and they were just like, they could just talk about these things, or they worked with another certification program and they only address these things. And so now that they have this holistic title and a holistic certification and education, it just really opens up the door to use your intuition and guide your clients in the best direction that you see fit. So I hope that answers your question, even though it was not very brief. But if someone asked that question, it can help definitely open up the door to getting their mind rolling about holistic healthcare and how can they benefit from more of a holistic approach to their health. So, yep, hope that helps. Awesome. So that said, the health coach program is a lot more about behavior modification than like specifically solving health issues. So don't put pressure on yourself to like be a naturopathic doctor, because you are here to help coach people through healthy lifestyle changes. Now, when it comes to maybe having a little bit more trained expertise in knowing what to do for specific issues, that's where a therapeutic nutritional counselor certification can be very helpful, because in that program, you do go through 120 modalities of healing or more that are used around the world to help people. I'm just going to actually jump right into the TNC program right now, because I'll just show you what's inside the program and that may answer your questions. So let me come back up here to my library and then down here to the TNC program. Oh, here we are. Awesome. So the TNC program was the first program Karen ever developed, because people would come listen to Karen speak. Karen has delivered like literally thousands of live seminars in her life. She would be invited to speak at corporate wellness centers, at doctors' offices. We would host community classes almost every week at our centers. She would host like weekend events about how to prevent disease. She is such a community activist. That woman really believes in grassroots movements and empowering people in the community to not have to rely on some professional with a title to make intelligent decisions about their health. Not that we're downplaying the medical field, because there's a time and a place for medicine, absolutely, but she just really wanted to empower people at any level they were at. And so people would come here and speak, and they're like, Karen, where did all this information in your brain come from? Can you just touch my brain and just give me a download of everything you've learned? And so she's like, I can't do that, but I can put all the favorite things I've learned and all my favorite studies and all the therapies I've studied in one place. And that's what the TNC program is. So there's 6 modules, and I'll go over those in a minute. So if you enroll, I'm just going to walk you through the first few steps. There's like the nice little welcome. Cell Talk is like a really short series. It's under an hour, where Karen just takes you through the basic anatomy and biology and physiology of a cell, because she's a huge believer in cell health. Everything comes down to the health of a cell. In fact, one of her most famous quotes is, change the context of the human cell and you change the course of the human body. And so cell context is like, what is your cell floating in? What is what is it feeling? What types of minerals are in your body? So she just goes over it. Super cool explanations. We go over systems of the body. So this is a naturopathic doctor and Karen just talking about the endocrine system, chakra system, circulatory, digestive, lymphatic, meridian, nervous, respiratory systems, the renal system, the the musculoskeletal system. And so very empowering to learn more about each of the systems of the body. There's 12 main systems we talk about. There might be 13 now, actually. The Empowered series, you'll go through that. That's like a 2-day live course event she used to do. That was her most attended event. And these are the highlight clips from that program. And then you get your book list so you can know what book reports to do. And then you go ahead and get started here with the modules. So you learn about minerals, vitamins, cell anatomy, detoxification, the power of the human body, earth energy, which is more like that's just different than energy medicine. Earth energy, I would say, is dealing with a lot of like frequencies and the just how our electrical context affects us and affects our bodies and our physiology. And then we go through healing without a pharmacy. So that's just so many modalities of healing in that section, from herbs to homeopathy to let's click on it actually. Let's take a look. Herbalism, homeopathy, aromatherapy, dentistry. Holy cow. You know how many issues are related to your mouth? It's crazy. Superfoods, flower essences, Chinese face reading, art therapy, autogenic training, tapping, medicinal mushrooms. And then you get your homework and you have your essays and then the quiz. So that's how each section is organized. It's like there's all these videos to watch, and then there's your homework, the essays, and the quiz. And the homework's super fun, by the way. Don't be scared about it. Like, it's very applicable. Clay therapy. I've never even heard of that. I'm going to have to come back and watch that one later. That's going to be news for me. So each module has these modalities of healing spread out throughout them. So you'll just be kind of working through those as you go through the program. Acupressure, acupuncture, auricular therapy, atlas orthogonal, colon therapy, iridology, reflexology, etc. Woo! So that's the TNC program. And then you also get access to PowerPoints and handouts and information on nutrition and presentations, etc. So that is the TNC program. So any questions on that program? I do want to mention one thing about that actually is your legal scope of practice as a TNC. So even though we want to provide you with all the training in the world about how your central nervous system works and how your endocrine system works and how your electrical system, you know, your nervous system is communicating with everything in your body, and how digestion works, you are not allowed to like alter anyone's prescriptions, not allowed to give them medical advice. You might already know that, but I'm just saying you shouldn't even give them like direct health advice. Like, oh, you should do this for 3 months and then this for this long and then this for this long, unless they're like part of your PMA, which is a private membership association. And also you have to give them disclaimers. And also if you really want to err on the safe side, just focus on education and empowering them to make the best decisions for themselves. I'm not saying there aren't amazing intuitive healers out there who really can give people specific advice and specific like counsel on what they should do moving forward. I'm just saying what your legal scope of practice is. You're not walking out of this one with like a sheet of paper that allows you to like modify everyone's health protocol. It just is totally empowering you to know really how to help people reverse their health issues once and for all. And you can now pass that information on to them and completely empower them to know what their options are moving forward. How can they reverse these things moving forward? Yeah. So I'm just throwing that out there because I just want to we are all about people doing things within their scope of practice. How long does it take to go through the TNC course? Are the other courses required first? So great question. So the other courses are not, the health coach program is highly encouraged first, just because the 10-step program is just such a great base of information that will help you take all these other pieces of the TNC program and just like plug it in. So that is a lot of feedback we got on the TNC program is people are like, this stuff is great, this makes so much sense, but like what order do I take it in with my clients, or like how does it all fit together? And so that's why we actually created the 10-step program for the TNCs, actually, is where the 10-step program came from. And then we opened it up to the public because we're like, actually anyone would want to go through this thing, but we created it for the TNCs as like, hey, here's a 10-step guide, check by check thing that you can go through with your clients to help them improve their health, because you might have a biofeedback scan with them And if they have all these markers off, you know, like, oh, their potassium magnesium ratio's off, and they have these indicators for parasites, and they have these indicators for their blood work, and like, you know, if all these red dots, listen, honey, if they are not drinking water and moving their bodies and working on their digestion health, like, you can give them every supplement you want in the world, but they need to cover those basics if they want long-term success. Would you guys agree with that? I mean, that's just our whole philosophy, is like, we love biofeedback units because it can give us a look inside someone's body, but there are foundational things to long-term health. Like if someone has to move their body, you need to like jiggle it or go for walks or get your blood pumping. If you want your neurotransmitters to be in balance, if you want your hormones to be produced and synthesized, if you want your digestion to work properly, you know, if you want your central nervous system to recover properly, like, you have to move your body for all of those things. I love what Kim said, jiggle that body. We're all about the jiggle. Seriously though, it's so fun. And so just jiggle the cells, you know, jump up and down, stand on one of those vibration plates. Like, there's so many ways to move your lymph system. And so that is why we do recommend going through the 10-step program first, is it just gives you a great foundation of the bases. And then all those other therapies, it's just like plug and chug. You're like, Ralphing makes sense because of my musculofascial system. If I have like tense fascia, it's going to be pulling on other parts of my body and give me back pain. You know, you're gonna be like, oh, and then I can take this herb to help with the pain while I'm releasing the fascial tension, you know? So it just gives you like this great base layer where now, like, all these other therapies you learn about, you can kind of see just how it all ties together and relates to the body. Cool. Did that answer your question? That was a great question you asked, by the way. And then while you're typing, okay, good. Thanks for the thumbs up. Love it. How long does it take to go through the TNC course? So this really depends how you pace yourself. We had one woman who came in, she was 75 years old. And I want to say she got done with it in 3 months because she just was like, this is what I'm doing. And she just like, she was just a dedicated student. Boom, 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 boom. Just went through the whole thing, got the books done. I will say the books are probably the part that takes some people the longest because some of them are on Audible, but a lot of them you do actually have to physically read. And so it can be the books for some people, but anywhere is from 3 months to like 2 years. Really depends how you pace yourself. It is like a degree though. I mean, I don't know if I can like legally say that. I'm just saying, like, I've learned 10 times as much from these programs as I did in like my entire undergraduate education and graduate education. So it is information because we are looking to like get you to that level of awareness of what's out there. So cool. And then one last question, are the books included or purchased separately? They are purchased separately. So we provide you with a book list and it has links, Amazon links to where you can get the book at the cheapest price we found it. So you can just drop ship that to yourself. That's not to say though that we might have some really cool swag for you, like journals and fun stuff that's holistic health educators related. But we kind of want to leave it up to you how you want to get the books, because some people prefer to get it on Audible. Other people will just get it like a secondhand store online. Other people want like the fresh, crisp copy from Amazon. So that's just kind of why we leave it up to you. So great question. Wow, I'm just going to take a breather. We are getting through these, ladies. I love it, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm going to finish up with the whole human body master guide, and then real quick fly through the 5 most popular ways people make money. And then we'll do more question and answer, and we should finish on time. So this is great. One last question, is there a discount to take TNC if already gone through the HHC? Absolutely. So one really cool thing about holistic health educators is we do allow you to product stack. And so if you've already gone through the HHC, we actually take that tuition against what you would owe on the TNC program. Totally. Because we don't want, like, people just have to take it at their own pace. We're all about people doing this at like the appropriate pace for them. So a lot of people will come in and then they'll just like work their way up. And so, but if you want the best deals, doing the bundle up front does give you the best deal, but we still, after that, you still will save, because while you're not bundling it all together, it goes against the tuition of the TNC program you've already paid. You just don't get the other 2 courses included with it. So, okay. Awesome. So I am going to share my screen and finish the holistic health, the human body master guide. So thank you so much for asking your questions. It is so helpful to be on the same page with all of you. So the Human Body Master Guide was also created for the TNCs. And we ended up opening it up to the public, and it actually became our top program. So this is the most popular program at Holistic Health Educators, probably because this applies to literally everyone, professionals, parents, young adults, anyone with a human body. This is a very valuable resource guide to have. And so how this program is organized is it's like an A to Z guide for finding answers to health questions. And we are constantly adding to this, and finding new contributors who have even more insights. So it's fun because it is an ever expanding program. That said, it's not one where you start and finish it. It's more of like a reference guide where you're like, okay, someone has a sinus infection. What can I do for that? Or what have other people done for that? Or, oh, gallbladder issues. How do you do a gallbladder flush? Or acid reflux. What's actually causing acid reflux? So let's see here. Which one should we click on? Well, let's do acid reflux. So for example, in the acid reflux section, you have this written section on, every section has an instant info section where we cover. Sometimes we go into depth about what it actually is. Other times we just cut to the chase of what you can do for it. But acid reflux is easily one of the most misunderstood concepts out there. And it is also like, I will just, anyway, no comment. No comment for standard. Boy, this is standardly treated in the medical field right now, but I will just not be surprised if it completely changes in the next 20 years. Because most of the time when people have acid reflux, their stomach is not acidic enough. And so the food never moves through the pyloric sphincter into the duodenum, which is the first 10 inches of your small intestinal tract. And so it just stays gurgling in your stomach, and then eventually starts to go up through the lower esophageal sphincter and giving people heartburn or acid reflux. Because if there was enough stomach acid, and if this person was not in fight or flight mode, or whatever reasons could be leading to this digestion not working properly, that food would just move smoothly along. And so you want an acidic stomach. You want to be eating in a state of not fight or flight so that your digestion can happen properly. And so a lot of times people who have acid reflux actually need to look at how to properly make their stomach more acidic and properly trigger digestion so that food can move right along instead of gurgling forever and then coming back up their esophagus. So that's why we go over it, because it's just so misunderstood. But most of the time you just cut to the chase. So we go over whole foods to enjoy, and then also foods to avoid a lot of times. Where's the avoid foods? It must be higher up. And then we go over, oh, here's the foods to avoid. So like high lactose dairy, fast foods, high fat foods, alcohol, spicy foods, chocolate. We definitely, I'm going to go back on here and add bread products, because if you want to mess up your stomach acidity, just consume a lot of white flour products. That will take care of it right away. High fat, like deep fried foods and white bread products. Holy cow, that can neutralize your stomach acid faster than most things. We go over vitamins and supplements that can help. Herbs that can help, healing techniques and modalities that can help, home remedies you can do, like taking apple cider vinegar or stimulating the vagus nerve, homeopathy, essential oils, and then additional resources. Cool. So that's what the instant info section covers for each one of these topics, because we just want people to know which like herbs, essential oils, and holistic therapies are available. Then you may have these specialty videos. This is Karen talking with a chiropractor about acid reflux and digestion. This is a holistic dentist. She's one of our favorites. She is like, this dentist is amazing. She's a TNC graduate, and she's totally reforming biological dentistry right now, and the whole dentistry association with just amazing success. So she's giving her take on, she has a very nutritional approach to dental health. And so she's giving her input. And so that's the whole reason this guide was formed, is because we noticed every field has a different approach to things. A great example, one more example I'll give here is like depression. you have all these different healing modalities that are going to have a different opinion. You have therapists. This one, depression, anxiety, and stress. This is with a therapist. You have neural feedback technicians that have their approach to depression, anxiety, and ADD. You have colon hydrotherapists who are going to be talking about how the health of your colon affects depression, and how if your colon's backed up and you're not properly synthesizing your nutrients, you're going to have nutritional deficiencies, and you can also have parasites that can totally affect your mood. I had parasites before, and after I got rid of them, my mood instantly was just like elevated. I felt like a weight had been lifted off my chest because parasites are very low frequency. And so she's talking about how your colon health affects how you feel and affects anxiety, depression, and stress. And then there's fancy technology out there. Karen gives this great hour-long presentation on all these different natural approaches to depression and anxiety. And then also this is a skincare specialist talking about how to absorb nutrients through your skin barrier, like magnesium, that can help your body calm down. Now, this isn't to say that depression and anxiety are the same at all. They're totally different things, because anxiety is usually upregulation of the central nervous system, and depression can be either upregulation or downregulation of the central nervous system. So there are do want to acknowledge they're medically and just like literally just very different conditions, but some of these techniques are good for both. So that's why they're both in here. So, and here's a list of 20 other things you can try for depression, sadness, anxiety, and stress. I gave this list to one of my friends the other day who has access to the program. I was like, hey, check it out. And she went through this and she's like, wow, I found a few things that are really helpful. Thank you so much. So it's just great to hear these opinions from all these different types of specialists. I just want to mention that the reason why the Human Body Master Guide was created is because Karen started this program as a book. She spent, I don't know how many thousands of dollars paying researchers to collect. She had this whole research team back when we had our physical location in Draper. She had this team of researchers, and she was like, hey, please go find for every condition, what are the herbs they should use? What are the essential oils they should use? What are the healing modalities that are good, like Ralphing or auricular therapy or neurolinguistic programming? Go find the essential oils, go find the the homeopathic remedies. She's like, I want it all in one place so that a mom doesn't have to look up 5 different books every time she wants to know how to help her child, or more, or go see 12 specialists every time she wants to help her child. And so she started collecting this A to Z guide. And then back in 2019, we had the idea to turn it into an online video library. So that's when we started like doing these interviews with all these professionals, being like, can we interview you on the top 10 things you deal with in your clinic and what you do for it? So now it's this guidebook where people can come in and see what XYZ professionals around the world do for each condition. And it's meant to save people time and to learn what your options are. I need to give one more example of this, like fatigue. Holy cow. Last thing, and then we're going to do question and answers. So thank you so much for hanging out with me. Last share on the live calls, because this is just going to blow your mind. So in addition to having this as a reference guide, we have these live calls. And so here we have guest speakers come on, and they come from a variety of different backgrounds. And sometimes Karen is doing question and answer with them. Sometimes they prepare their own presentation. So like Dennis is a scientist. He develops water filtration units. So he's talking all about water. He also works with people who produce Delta 8. He also developed his own mineral and zeolite formulas. So he's just talking about how all these things, what they do in the body and how they can help. We had a guest speaker talking about thermal therapy and heat shock proteins in the biomat. I gave a presentation on alternative cancer therapies and the current state of cancer research in the clinical field. Nadia Lutz is a biofeedback technician, and she's talking about how she recovered from COVID to get her sense of smell and taste back. But there's one of these calls. We have neurolinguistic programmers, neurotransmitter experts, functional movement and meditation experts, craniosacral therapists. How do I get further back? There's just one example I need to give you, and then we can totally move on. But we had that dentist come on who does holistic dentistry here. she's sandwiched between two other amazing presentations on an infectious disease specialist talking about viruses, bacteria, molds, fungus, herpes, etc. His presentation is using oxygen therapy to help those things. And then this is the most hilarious herbalist you'll ever hear present. He is so hilarious. And he was talking about how to help your pets, and then also brain fog, heart health, blood pressure, how to dose herbs, and all that. So it's super fun to hear from these variety of professionals that come on, and you can tune in live or watch the replays. So this holistic dentist is showing us how people can have underlying dental issues, and it increases their risk of cancer and heart disease by as much as like 2.5 fold. Because check this out, if you go to a dentist and get a normal x-ray, like let's say you get a root canal and it gets infected, a lot of root canals get infected and we don't know it. And so you'll get a normal x-ray done and it looks totally fine. If you go to a biological dentist or a holistic dentist, they're going to do a CT scan instead of just a normal x-ray, because look at the same person's jaw under a CT scan. You see how much bone deterioration is happening. This person has a chronic dental infection. Now what? Their immune system is fighting this infection 24/7, and the same immune system that's also responsible for fighting off cancer growth or fighting off other viruses and bacteria and pathogens is now bogged down with dealing with this chronic dental infection. So it doesn't have the capacity to keep all these other systems in the body regulated. And so this can be a huge cause of not only developing other diseases, but also of just like fatigue and loss of energy and headaches, because this infection is brewing in your mouth and sometimes you don't even know about it. So I watched her presentation. We had a lot of people report back after watching this, which was so cool. But I watched her presentation and I was like, well, I had a root canal done. I was like, I don't think I have an issue, but I'll just go get it checked anyway. I went and get it checked and they're like, sure enough, honey, it has already started seeping into your sinus cavities. And it's in your sinus cavity, and it's just because you're so healthy, you don't feel the symptoms yet. And so I was like, whoa, that's crazy. So I was like, well, let's schedule to get it removed. You might need to save up for that, because biological dentists do their work very well. They're also not cheap, but they're worth every penny if you look at it, how much it affects you medically. Totally. A single operation is going to be like $14,000. So is your dental work really that much? So I go and get it removed, and it had already died. I had no idea. But my body was so relieved after it came out. And it had, yeah, it was already purple, and there was an abscess up there where it was infected. They said I probably wouldn't have caught it till I was 40. And so learning about dentistry is so important. That's the reason why it's going to be a huge part of our holistic integrative clinic. When that opens, we're going to have a whole dental division, because anyone who's coming in with cancer or ongoing chronic issues, they are getting their teeth looked at. That's going to be one of the first things they do after they come into our clinic, because of how many underlying calls there are, or issues there are. So I know that was a lot. I just had to throw it out there, because isn't it so empowering to learn about all these ways to address the body? And it's like you're a detective, you know, like if you have an issue or someone else has an issue, you're like, okay, could it be the neurotransmitters, or could it be an underlying infection that we don't know about, or a mold toxicity? So many honestly, bacteria, viruses, parasites, mold, and fungus. So many issues are related to chronic infections of these things, and they go completely diagnosed to something else: ALS, MS, fatigue, hormonal imbalances and issues, digestive gut issues, totally misdiagnosed. And sometimes it's just a pathogen that you got to learn how to get rid of the body. You got to bind it and get it out of there. So yeah, that's why it's like, it seems like a lot. So like, I hope it's empowering and not just like, whew, too much information. But our whole goal is to really help people get to the root of their health issues and discover those answers for themselves. And thanks so much for the comment. Shelly gave a call out. The live calls in the Human Body Master Guide are amazing. Yes, we feel the same way. That's why I love my job, because I'm like always getting my mind blown. We're almost running out of time, or else I would tell you my favorite highlights. I always wanted to start a podcast that was just like my favorite highlights of the things I've learned in the holistic health field lately, because it's just like all these concepts are so exciting to learn about. And then awesome, Rebecca, you're having your root canal looked at. That's great. I hope for the best, but also I hope whatever the outcome is, that it leads to a healthier life for you. So that's great. So that is an overview of our programs. just because you guys have been so great at answering your questions along the way. Keep that up. I'm going to go over these 5 ways that people make money, and then we'll call it good. Yes, yes, yes. Oh, I already minimized it. So the first way that I already talked about quite a bit is that people do sessions with people, with their clients one-on-one. And so this is one of the most popular ways that our graduates make money is they just become a nutritional counselor or a health coach, and they meet with people, maybe online, maybe in person, maybe they're doing biofeedback with them, and they either sign them up for, they pay, their clients pay per session with them, or their clients pay for like a contract of time. And so those are 2 different ways to do it. You can coach someone for like a 6-month, sign them up on a 6-month contract, or you can just do it like, it's like $125 for you to come in and have a biofeedback scan done. I'm a big fan of coaching long-term, just because honestly, who changes after one appointment? They might. If it's like a therapy session and someone re-identifies their true identity, that can be life-changing. But a lot of times people need help with behavior modification, and that's typically not an overnight process. The second way is to incorporate your existing certification into your existing career field. So if you're a dentist, you can turn into a biological dentist. If you work in HR, you can incorporate a worksite wellness program. If you work at a functional medicine clinic, you can offer nutrition education or nutritional counseling. If you are already in the holistic health field, now you just expand what you offer your clientele. And so that just typically increases your salary because you're adding more value. Our people who do this do very well for themselves. I'm just throwing it out there. It's just so powerful the more you can stack up in what you have to offer. But it's all, all specializing too. Like, we're not saying don't specialize, but it's just great to have so much value to add. You can run a holistic health and education center. So this is like what we did in Wisconsin and in Utah, and we have several graduates who do this either on a large scale or a small scale, where they just team up with a couple other professionals. But you can open up like an integrative clinic and have massage therapists or biofeedback technicians, nutritional counselors, colon hydrotherapy, fascial release, thermal imaging, metacupping, etc. So there's really fun and helpful to have like that team together, where you can all kind of share the costs of operating a center like that. You can sell products, so that's another great way to bring in money. People love buying products, things that do things for their body, just like herbs or supplements or whatnot. You can host community classes and events. So that's a huge thing we did with our centers, is we always had to have classrooms, because we were hosting cooking classes and we were hosting disease prevention summits. And if you get certified through us, you can actually host your own certification events at your center, and we will fly out to them and certify your people or help you teach the course. So that's really cool. And then lots of you can do Tai Chi classes there, yoga classes, whatnot. The fourth way is to contract yourself with a larger organization, such as a corporation, and incorporate a worksite wellness program. So like, for example, one of our lead coaches, Hope Savara, she coaches our coaches on confidence training and marketing and dialing in your purpose. She caters to truckers. She teaches truckers that being a healthy person isn't just for the yoga person wearing tight pants and who's eating an organic diet. She shows truckers how to incorporate more movement into their day-to-day life. She helps anyone on the weight spectrum, from being completely sedentary and only drinking soda pop all day, all the way down to people really trying to be healthier. She helps them reach their health goals once and for all. So this is also a really cool way you can help organizations incorporate challenges, like worksite wellness programs, or coach their people one-on-one. And then the fifth way is to work with us. You can be an affiliate and sell our programs, or you can be a representative and expand our reach in other areas. You can coach incoming students, and that usually starts by having your own group of people that you coach, but sometimes people are just so awesome and we just throw them in there. And then also be eventually becoming on our staff. So we have like instructors, we have videographers, we have people who help with business management. So so just working with our organization. So those are 5 ways to make money with your certification. And the last closing line I will end with is just our organization's mission, which is to transform the way health education is delivered and to revolutionize the way healthcare is administered. So we invite you to become a part of that, whether that's becoming a community educator or a health coach or reforming healthcare, how it looks like in your area. And yeah, we're so grateful to have your time. So thank you so much for joining us.